What's good, folks? Coach Ronnie coming at you at Cheney Stadium down here in ATL, Georgia. Quick question for you. Do you want to get faster? If you want to get faster, stick around. We have Coach Harvey with the Strength Coach Talk Show talking everything speed. So like I said, if you want to get faster, stick around. We'll see you in a minute. What's good, folks? We are back at you. This is Coach Ronnie.
Coach Wesley.
With the Strength Coach Talk Show YouTube channel. We inform, educate and motivate. Now, you see something right there?
Man, I don't know what it is. Something going on, Coach.
I guess so. But anyway, we're talking speed today, folks. Talking speed. Now, Coach Wesley, you've been into football, track, all that. What are your most important elements when it comes to speed?
Force.
Force.
Force in the ground.
Force in the ground. Now,
like I like to say, absorb. Not absorb. Wait.
That's the second time we've been distracted, Coach. I don't know what's going on. Look at this. Yo, how long you been sitting there?
Man, what took y'all so long? Been waiting here for dang 20 minutes.
So, aren't we talking speed today?
Absolutely.
All right, let's dive right in.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your man H2, the Strength Coach Talk Show. I'm right here with the co-host, Coach Wesley, and Coach Ronnie. So what we're going to discuss today in this speed episode is the relationship between strength training and speed and how they go together, or maybe they don't. Coach, what do you think and how important is strength training to create more speed, or is it?
It's definitely important, in my opinion. I think what's more important is we talk about speed sometimes from a comprehensive standpoint.
Okay.
And we need to understand, like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about speed in a 40-yard dash? Or are we talking about speed as it relates to, 200 meters?
Okay.
All right. So those are two different applications.
Now, do you suggest that strength training is ideal and has to be done?
It has to be done, okay? When I say it has to be done regardless of the distance, okay? But the strength training is done with respect to the distance.
Okay, but what about, let's just say, multi-directional speed in the sense of a field athlete?
Okay, so most of directional speed is definitely an application of strength.
Okay. Now, Coach Ronnie, my question to you dealing with the relationship between strength and speed is, does size dictate your ability to create more or less speed?
I'm going to say not necessarily size, but like hypertrophy.
Okay.
How much muscle you're able to put on.
Muscle mass.
Muscle mass, yes, sir.
Okay.
Muscle mass. I'm going to give you an example. They're extreme, but it's an example. You have a cross-country runner.
Okay.
Right? When you're dealing with that distance, is it appropriate for you to be jacked at 220, running a 4.240?
Okay. Okay.
Cross-country runner has so much more distance to cover, right? Endurance is the key factor.
Gotcha.
So he might be 50, 150, 160 pounds. He might be lean,
right?
But he doesn't have that necessary. He doesn't need that size.
Gotcha.
That's going to hamper him in the process.
Right, in the long run.
And they won't be able to maintain that type of muscle mass and that size, period, just based on the way that the body uses carbohydrates, fats, and proteins.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have certain sports, even though they can create power, they don't have the necessary muscle mass as some of those particular explosive athletes. Like, for example, I'll just say like Serena Williams or Venus Williams as tennis players.
Right.
They have, although Serena Williams is kind of like a prototype for the new modern tennis player, but most of the tennis players generally have leaner body types but create a lot of power in their swings and their explosive movement.
So it's interesting that you say that, Coach. When we look at Serena Williams, okay, the scouting report on her is what? Like if you was playing her, her strength is what?
Oh, definitely her power. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's why she's built like a brick house.
That's true.
Okay,
that's true.
And with that being said, I think although she's an excellent tennis player, she has a genetic gift that put something in the game. From an energy system standpoint that has made traditional athletes that participate in tennis, it made it very difficult for them to compete with her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the deadlift is a hip hinge pattern. A squat is a squat pattern.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
With that being said, that's pretty much the anatomy of the hip and how it moves in terms of generating force.
Okay.
Especially force, you know what I'm saying, going forward.
Okay.
So how I look at it is that, you know, I teach the deadlift, I teach the squat, whether it's loaded or not loaded.
Right.
Whether it's a back squat, front squat, whether it's a body weight squat.
Right.
Teach the hip hinge the same way. It's not necessarily about the resistance, but it's about, can you master those mechanics?
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And once I build strength through those lifts, I get it the fire through a hang clean.
Okay.
And the hang clean is so important. And a lot of people get caught up in the barbell being on the floor.
Okay.
But, you know, in athletic development, we're not necessarily looking to create Olympic weightlifters. We're looking to get people better in their sport. So the whole phenomenon of the hip being able to sink.
Okay.
All right, that's a counter movement.
Right.
I load, I explode, then I catch it. Okay, so the hang clean is one of my favorite loaded plyometric exercises.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
All it is a jump with resistance.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So Coach Ronnie, let me ask you this. Now, with all that being said, that Coach Wesley just discussed with us, how do you translate that to a, let's say, a younger athlete to be able to give them strength training without load resistance? How do we deal with that?
Well, I think that just goes back to basic movement patterns from day one. You know, we talk about providing resistance. Can this young athlete, can he do a squat?
Okay.
Can he do a lunge? Can he perform basic movement patterns?
Okay.
We have to perfect those before we can consider any type of load.
Absolutely.
You know, so
Absolutely.
before we get to load, once we perfect these movement patterns, then we can introduce such things as plyometrics.
Right.
Maybe a frog hop.
Okay.
Maybe a jump squat.
Gotcha.
Things of those nature. Things of that nature. But we definitely don't want to worry about overloading a young athlete.
Right.
Loading a young athlete.
Absolutely.
Perfect movement patterns, get them to understand plyometrics, and then we go from there.
What we're going to do is we're going to end our segment today, and I'm going to give you guys 3 exercises and plyometric explosive movements that I use with my athletes, particularly track and other field athletes, that create a lot of explosive power. So if you just sit right back, be right back and show you these exercises. We're going to go into 3 different explosive movements that we can show you that you can work on at home to help increase explosive movements while increasing your strength. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about basic squats. Okay, so in a basic squat, you want to make sure that you are feet at least shoulder width apart. Okay, and distribute your weight evenly as you begin to go into your hinge and your drop. Okay, so you want to make sure that you keep your lower extremity, your butt back behind you low, shoulders back, chest up, head elevated right in front. So that way when you go down, it's straight and you come back up. Okay, and make sure you concentrate on driving the hips forward as you come forward in your squat. The next movement pattern we're going to talk about is a lunge to plyo skip. Now this is a little bit of an advanced movement, but the main focus is to make sure that you can distribute your weight evenly, okay, on one side of your body to the other in a good lunge format. Okay, so we're going to do a forward lunge, shoulders back, head up, and from that movement of the lunge you explode right into a plyo skip. Alright, so the third exercise we're going to do is the wall runs. Now wall runs help us to be able to technically keep our body in line, 45 degrees, being able to accelerate with the proper foot strike, driving the knees up high and placing the feet back behind the hips. So those are wall runs, and these 3 exercises will definitely help you increase your speed and your strength.
Thanks a lot, folks, for tuning in to the Strength Coach Talk Show. Now make sure you subscribe to this video, make sure you like this video, and make sure you share this video. If you want any information dealing with speed, strength, conditioning, tune in. Appreciate you. Have a good one.